It was Friday. It was the first week of sail camp, and Molly complained to me about her foot hurting. I said, it's probably your shoes, so suck it up, Buttercup. She was increasingly in pain throughout the rest of the week, and through doctor's appointments, emergency room appointments, and being told by a doctor that we need to go to the downtown University Hospital emergency.
Really heartwarming and a hopeful piece, and just extremely immersive. All of the footage of the children on the sailboat fighting against these intense winds, them pulling the ropes and working together and problem solving against the elements out in the open ocean air was beautiful and visceral, and I felt like I got to be on the boat and a part of something that was really important. So it was really nice to have the more intimate connections to the group, but also to the idea of getting out there and what sailing looks like on its own. I also loved at the ending with the award ceremony and getting to see snippets of each of the children that were a part of this journey. I thought was really important and a great way to honor them and honor those who are suffering.
This was a terrific documentary. I really liked the message of this one, where an adult racing crew is teaching youth how to take their sports skill and use it as a platform for raising money for youth that are critically ill. And Molly, a crew member who's battled leukemia, is on that crew and in the race, a race that's almost called off because of rough weather, but her boat perseveres and they finish. And it was terrific at the end, where the filmmaker had the mother's words of wisdom. Molly's mom spoke about how the future's unknown, especially when you have a sick child and you go hour to hour, minute by minute, or day to day. Things can change, and not to quit the battle, to fight for their lives or for your race, because things can change in your favor.
They compare the race to a journey of fighting cancer, because just like on the race course, you don't know which way the route is going. You don't know where it's going to take you, but you push through and you don't quit. And it was beautiful to see where the inspiration for this came from and how successful it was, because they raised over $23,000 for cancer research. And you felt a sense of camaraderie between this group and a sense of fighting for a bigger purpose outside of your own.
I think it's a really great cause, and I'm glad that it was highlighted and given its own story. And it's such a very clear story that really, is informational, but also brings an emotional pull to what they're doing once you establish, one of the former sailors, Molly, and her leukemia, and getting a look at her mother and that touching and sad story, and how that brought about these young sailors going about and doing what they're doing and sailing to raise money and awareness. I think it's a really great cause, and I think it's a really interesting story. And it's something that, anyone can get behind. I think it has a really clear narrative. I think it has a pretty good call to action for those who want to help out in any way.
It's nice and tidy, and the narrative gets us right to the heart of the matter. We hear from all the right people, the people involved, and hear their takes and their perspective and what motivated them to do them. And it was all really thoughtfully put together. It's just good pacing throughout. It's not a terribly long doc, and it doesn't need to be. And I just overall thought it was really admirable for the cause and what they've achieved. So yeah, great work.
We get to meet many people involved in an organization called More Kids on Sailboats, which encourages kids to race sailboats and to raise money for cancer research. It was sad to hear from Molly's mom about Molly's leukemia. This makes the film even more moving in that these kids work so hard to raise money, especially since Molly was one of the young sailors. Lovely sailing footage and the upbeat vocals really added to showing the success of these young people.
It's a really beautiful and sweet documentary. It's extremely inspiring, and I think it's great as an inspirational story for kids fighting cancer and getting involved in sailboating, but I think it